Well, Senator Blackburn, thank you so much for giving us a chance to sit here and talk about the Wuhan lab leak and the cover-up thereof, what we affectionately refer to it as Batgate. It occurred to me as I was sitting there reading Dr. Fauci's emails recently that everything I learned in 10th grade science, everything I learned as a doctor about the scientific method, about hypotheses and developing theories, that we just threw that all out the door. I was shocked as I went back and reviewed some of the letters that were written, but really what rose my suspicion was somewhere back in January of 2020. And the Chinese were saying that there was no person-to-person transmission. The WTO agreed, and the CDC didn't stand up to them. And that led for me to have a phone call with the CDC. And all the national journalists were reporting that the United States scientists were investigating this new novel virus. And when I talked to the CDC, they said, well, we've got scientists in Beijing, but they're thousands of miles from Wuhan, so we really don't have anything to tell you. And then the next thing I see is this a letter signed by a group of scientists who have ignored even the possibility that this virus could have risen from the laboratory. They totally ignored it. They threw out the scientific hypothesis that this was even feasible. And didn't come to find out most of those scientists, if not all of them, were receiving some type of funding then and in the future from the NIH, and our CDC sat there and nodded their head in agreement. And then national journalists, big tech companies, they worked together to suppress this story. They worked together to censor those of us who thought that this virus may have originated there. And not only did they suppress, they actually shamed people who thought that this might have came from a laboratory. And then finally, we see in Dr. Fauci's emails a collusion, working with Dr. Fauci, big tech working together to suppress this story. Here we are, we're 17 months later. We still don't know anything much more about this virus. I think that we have to hold the CCP accountable. And if the United States is in any way accountable, if they helped fund laboratories that led to the development of this virus, then we need to be held accountable as well. And we need a deep dive into what viral gain of research rules look like going forward as well. We're never going to get to the bottom of this unless we stop this cover-up of the Wuhan lab leak until we stop Batgate. Thanks, Marcia.
Senator Johnson?
Go ahead.